Now at 5, Carthage residents clean up after last night's storm damaged buildings around the square. Plus, it's election day in Missouri and Oklahoma. We're going to see what's on the ballot. And Joplin police investigate a shooting that happened on Main Street last night.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Roofs peeled up, trees and telephone poles down, roads completely blocked, and many windows broken. This is just some of the aftermath from last night's storm as it tore through much of the area, including the Carthage Square. This is KOIM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. KOIM's Fernandez Silva joins us live and joins us the damage caused by last night's storm.
Even though most of the cleaning was done in the early hours of today, we can still see some damage around here. That, for example, is a street light that is now broken and on the floor. One of the residents I spoke to told me he just finished paying for his car that was also damaged.
It really sucks trying to start from square one and build something, and it's all just taken.
You know, it looked like a war zone. I mean, it looked like everything's in the street. I had people next door to me crying in the street, and their cars are damaged, just wiped out.
Murphy's Law Restaurant and Bar is also dealing with the consequences of the damage. We can see now that it's looking much better than it was looking earlier today when there was glass and pieces of their roof on the floor, on the ground. But this is going to be a work in progress.
Any idea when Murphy's Law is expected to reopen, Faye?
They are hoping to open it soon, the sooner the best for them. And one of their thoughts is opening part of their business and keeping the other, as I said, as a work in progress.
All right, we will look for updates, certainly. Fernandez Silva live in Carthage. Thanks. Carthage residents also shared concerns about not hearing tornado sirens. The city says the tornado warning alert was activated by the National Weather Service. At the same time, the electric company's computers indicated a power outage on the square. City officials say at that time storm shelters were being opened.
I do have access to do those storm sirens on my phone. I was on my phone trying to get with R9 and let them know what was going on and all of that. And by the time I got done with all of that, the storm had passed through, and I opted not to sound them.
Fire Chief Ryan Huntley tells us they're going to evaluate what can be done better in the future. Huntley also says the Carthage Public Works Department is assessing property damage today. No injuries were reported. In Barnsdall, Oklahoma, a likely tornado flattened homes and knocked out power for thousands of people. In total, 8 states saw violent winds, hail, and tornadoes from Texas all the way to Illinois. Heavy rain caused flash flooding near St. Louis, where about 1.5 inches of rain fell in the span of just 4 hours. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather and what we know about last night.
Well, of course, we had a lot of severe weather roll through the region last night. All of these orange dots popping up, those are all wind damage. And then we had a couple confirmed tornadoes in our southwestern counties. The blue dots showing us hail reports, so quite a bit of severe weather. Let's go into Carthage and we'll go right into the square. And you can see this actually came back as straight line winds. But look at this. They were clocking 100 miles per hour. So very strong winds across the region. Much quieter today. It's much colder as well. We have the clouds which are pushing through the region. Look at all the very heavy stripe of rain that we saw from the showers and thunderstorms last night. Much calmer as we go through the next few days, but also gets colder. We're going to look at that coming up here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. This is election day in Missouri and Oklahoma. Jasper County voters are deciding on school council seats, taxes, and school board positions.
You see some damage around here. These
at a
are
polling
pieces.
location in Joplin.
The Jasper County Courthouse lost electricity after last night's storm took out power lines nearby. The county clerk, Charlie Davis, says the power returned just 10 minutes before polling locations opened. Fortunately, the storm damaged no polling locations. However, poll workers say the weather isn't helping voter turnout.
So far today, we've had a little over 100 voters, which is about 5% of our precinct. So we expect to end up about 10% probably.
And polls will close at 7 p.m. tonight.
All right, we're going to have those returns tonight on KOAM. Amber, thank you so much. Joplin police searched for a suspect in a shooting last night on Main Street. That happened around 8:15 p.m. at 1817 South Main. Officers responded to a call and found a man with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. He was rushed to the hospital. Shortly after that, police surrounded a home on the 1500 block of South Wall in search of a suspect. Authorities said they spotted a suspect in the backyard initially, but by the time they entered the home, they say that suspect was gone. We do not know the victim's current condition. Today marks 1 week since the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore that left 6 construction workers dead. Maryland Governor Wes Moore announced the opening of a second temporary channel about 14 feet deep to get commercial trucks past the wreckage. Recovery teams have been working around the clock to remove steel and concrete at the site to reach the bodies of 4 construction workers who are presumed to be dead.
We have to move fast, but we cannot be careless. We promised these families that we would do everything in our power to bring them closure. But also, my directive is to complete this mission with no injuries and no casualties. We have already lost 6 Marylanders. We will not lose any more.
Officials expect to open a deeper third channel in the coming days, but they caution there's still a long way from getting a commercial traffic volume back to where it was before the collapse. Still ahead, an overlooked aspect of a common condition.
Autism in young girls is often undiagnosed. I'm Michael George with why it's happening and what doctors say parents should know.
Plus, the second ever case of bird flu in a human in the U.S. is confirmed. We're going to have those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, for just the second time ever in the U.S., a human has contracted bird flu. Texas health officials say the person had direct exposure to cows that presumably had the virus. Recent outbreak among dairy cows has spread to at least 4 states, with a 5th state reporting a possible case.
This person has a very mild case, just conjunctivitis, which is pink eye. And that's important to emphasize because it's not in the lungs. It's not pneumonia, which would make it easier to transmit from person to person.
While the risk to the general public is low, people in contact with infected animals and those living with an infected person need to be concerned. Infected cows are being isolated, their milk disposed of, and officials say there is no risk to the meat supply because they wait for the animal to recover. Today is World Autism Day, and experts are trying to raise awareness that autism in young girls is often overlooked. Michael George spoke with a family about their struggle to get a diagnosis.
16-year-old Cozy says when she was in 6th grade, she struggled in school and battled anxiety, and neither she nor her mother Lisa knew why.
It can be really hard to go through these struggles that make you different from a lot of other people without a reason.
Cozy was eventually diagnosed with autism.
It really happened after 3 years or so of trying to figure out why some things in school were hard for her, why she was struggling.
Dr. Cynthia Martin is Senior Director of the Autism Center at the Child Mind Institute. She says autism is often overlooked in young girls and even misdiagnosed.
We see higher rates of diagnoses of anxiety or depression, and the autism really gets missed.
Dr. Martin says the reasons why can vary. Sometimes girls may not fit the criteria of autism, and girls tend to be better able to mask symptoms by mimicking friends' behaviors. But getting an accurate diagnosis can be life-changing.
Knowing that that's coming from a neurodevelopmental disorder can really help them to better understand themselves and better navigate the world and advocate for what they need.
While autism is more common in boys, it's important for parents and clinicians to pay attention to the signs in girls. If a diagnosis is missed, a young person could miss out on the support they need or develop other behavioral problems. Cozy says her diagnosis, along with therapy and medication, have helped, and she's encouraging other girls who are struggling to speak up.
Sometimes you can know yourself better than anyone else, and you can be going through something and nobody else will know, and if you don't talk about it and try to find those answers, then you won't.
And finding answers can make a world of difference. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Experts say if a child is struggling to understand social rules or having trouble navigating conflicts with friends, an autism evaluation might be warranted. 3 new studies suggest a rapid rise in the detection and treatment of mental health issues during pregnancy and the first year of parenthood in patients with private insurance. That's compared with just over a decade ago. A team at the University of Michigan found the rate of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders nearly doubled and perinatal PTSD quadrupled. Researchers say the rise in diagnosis and care was not equal across different groups of people and states. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why hybrid vehicles are gaining traction in the race versus fully electric options.
Plus, we continue to cool down as we go through the overnight hours. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, no severe weather this evening after a very active evening and night for us last night. We got some pretty good amounts of rain as well, about 1/4 of an inch since midnight. But for the month, we're only at day 2. So out of this storm system, we had almost 2 inches of rain. Some areas picked up more than that for the year. We're sitting at 7, deficit of about 1/2 inch. Going outside looks good, minus the clouds, but a nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Check out the 24-hour temperature change, 25 to 30 degrees colder right now compared to what we were last night. It's 45 Monette, 46 in Bella Vista, 49 in Miami. We do jump into the 50s with a little bit of sunshine once you get into our western counties, but much cooler than what we have seen. 47 outside, northerly winds at about 13. Those will start to pick up a bit as we go through the next couple days. Look at these northwesterly winds kicking in 10 to 15, but our gusts are going to go up as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We'll have gusts 20 to 30 through the daytime hours tomorrow, and then slowly start to taper off a little bit as we go through the daytime hours on Thursday. So with the dropping temperatures, wind chill factors by morning, it's going to feel like it's 25, 26 degrees. So it's going to be a cold start for us on Wednesday. All right, through the evening, sliding back through the 40s. Eventually, we'll get down to upper 30s later on tonight. The clouds are breaking up, especially in our western counties, so we are going to clear out as this whole storm system that gave us all the severe weather continues to roll off toward the east. So all the tornadic activity is now across the Ohio River Valley, heading away from us, but our upper level winds right out of Canada, so it's ushering in that cooler air across the region, which will be on top of us as we go through the next couple days. All right, for us tonight, we'll drop back upper 30s to near 40 degrees. Few clouds kind of skirting through. As we go into your Wednesday, upper 40s by noon. I think most of us get about 55 for an afternoon high. Tomorrow night, we'll drop back mid 30s. The winds may stay up a little bit to keep us away from a patchy frost, but mid 30s for an overnight low. And then as we go into Thursday, a little bit better as we get into the upper 50s. So a slow warming trend. 40 in the morning, 50 by noon. High temp of 55 degrees. We do continue to warm up all the way into the weekend. So if we go into the weekend, we are going to get a batch of thunderstorms. Some of those could be a little bit stronger as we get into Saturday evening. Not the best dynamics, but something we'll watch as we go through the next couple days. And then let's go into Sunday, partly sunny, upper 60s. But here's Monday. Of course, Monday is eclipse day. And if I put the path of totality on for you, there's a lot of clouds in there. So that's something we want to watch as we go through the next week or so. All right, 55 for you tomorrow, 58 on Thursday, 62 on Friday, 71 Saturday with those evening thunderstorms, 70 on Sunday. Really, temperature is pretty good as we go through the next several days, minus a little chilly tomorrow.
We can deal with a little bit of chilly.
Yeah.
Gosh, it'd be nice to see the sun during the eclipse. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, if you still haven't filed your taxes, well, we're going to have some tips to help you finish before the deadline. Topping today's Consumer Watch, you know, they say there are only 2 sure things in life, and for most of us, one of them is happening on April 15th. That's due day for your taxes. If you've waited until the last minute, experts say the key is to file electronically. There are also some free resources on irs.gov to help get the job done.
If you earn less than $79,000, you are able to file for free. And not only that, you get free software. There's also the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Plan. There is the tax counseling for the elderly. And then there's Mill Tax, which I think is an incredible program for folks in the military.
The IRS is also piloting a direct file program in 12 states that, if successful, could be rolled out to the rest of the country next year. Next month, 23 million low-income households could lose a subsidy that provides for their internet service. The Affordable Connectivity Program is expected to run out of funding at the end of this month. According to the Federal Communications Commission, those enrolled in the program will keep getting the subsidy through April. A major effort to put more electric cars on the road is slowing down a little, while another type of eco-friendly vehicle is grabbing the pole position. Bradley Blackburn explains.
Electric cars are once again center stage at the New York International Auto Show. The Kia EV9 took home the World Car of the Year award, and you'll find EVs of all shapes and sizes on display. There's even a track where people can go for a ride. 2 years ago, several automakers promised a major transition to electric. At first, the public responded and EV sales jumped 83% in 2022. But last year, that number cooled to 51%. And that has many manufacturers scaling back production plans.
A lot of early adopters really excited about the technology. They bought their vehicles. And now the next phase is moving more to the mass market. And that's where things are definitely going to slow down, because when you look at the mass market, they definitely have more questions.
EVs may be hitting a speed bump, but hybrid sales are accelerating. Hyundai unveiled the new Tucson, which comes in a hybrid model, and Ford is seeing major success with the hybrid Maverick pickup. The gas-saving vehicles are now grabbing a bigger share of the car market.
Kristen, this is a hybrid. These are selling more than ever.
They are.
Motor Trend's Kristen Lee showed us the hybrid Toyota Prius, named Motor Trend's Car of the Year.
The future is electric. It's just we're not at the future yet.
Lee says price is a factor. Even with tax incentives, EVs typically cost much more than hybrids, and many Americans worry about charging.
The hybrid is a very good alternative to that. And if you need to take that road trip once or twice a year, you can just use the existing gas stations like you always have.
EV sales are forecast to improve as prices drop and charging options expand. But for now, hybrids are in the lead. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, people in a dozen states today are dealing with a tornado threat. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on that storm damage in Carthage, Missouri, specifically around the square. Plus, the Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa County breaks ground on a new facility in Fairland. And a Northeast High School football standout signs to continue his career at the collegiate level. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Powerball jackpot has now surpassed $1 billion, now stands at an estimated $1.09 billion to be precise, after there was no winner in last night's drawing. Again, 6 tickets did match the first 5 numbers, and those winners, they got a measly $1 million each. Powerball tickets cost $2, and the next drawing is tomorrow night. Now, yesterday marked 39 consecutive drawings without a jackpot winner. The odds of winning roughly the same whether you buy a ticket or not. It's a bazillion gazillion to 1.
I'll still buy one. I'll waste $2.
Yeah, I probably will too.
Yeah. All right, weather-wise, cold for us tonight as we drop back. Upper 30s, 55 tomorrow, 58 Thursday, 60s return on Friday.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next, and of course we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.